Text files are a common way to store data, but there are times when you need to update or modify the contents of these files. Whether it's correcting a typo, updating a record, or performing bulk edits, Python provides a powerful tool for modifying text files. In this video, we'll explore the various methods for reading, updating, and saving changes to text files using Python, ensuring that your data is always accurate and up to date. Before diving into the actual modification of text files, it's important to understand that text files are essentially sequences of characters stored on disk. Modifying them typically involves reading the file's content into memory, making changes, and then writing the updated content back to the file. Python's built-in file handling functions make this process straightforward. The first step in modifying a text file is to read its content into memory. You can then perform the necessary changes and save the modified content back to the file. First, let's create an example file. For this, I have written first line of the file, second line of the file, and third line of the file in a file called example. Let's save it and continue with our example. We have uploaded our file from the sidebar, and now let's write our code. So it says with open, then the path of the file in read mode as file, and then we created a variable named lines and we wrote file.read lines, and then we modified the content. In line 0, we wrote updated first line, and then we opened the file again. So now let's change the path here too. In this example, we open example.txt in read mode and load all its lines into a list. We then modified the first line and write the updated list of lines back to the file. The writeLines method writes the entire list to the file, effectively replacing the old content. Now if you open example.txt file, you will see the contents are updated. So in the first line it wrote updated first line, and then the second line and the third line respectively. So if you want to change the second line of the code, you can simply type 1 here and run the code again. Now let's load our file again. And you might see that the third line is also updated. Sometimes you may need to add new information to an existing file without removing or overwriting the current content. Python's append mode allows you to add text to the end of a file, while inserting text at specific point requires more careful handling. For this, let's see an example. So I've written with open file name as an append mode, and then we wrote this line is appended. Now let's quickly change the file path and see the results. So this line is appended. Now let's see. So here you see a new line was added to our existing file. So in this example, the file is open in append mode and the new line is added to the end of the file. The existing content remains unchanged. Replacing specific words or phrases in a file is a common task. Python's string manipulation methods combined with file handling functions make this easy. For this, all you have to do is type this code with open file name as file, and then add a new variable named content, and then use the replace function of Python. Replace old text to new text, and then you open the file again. So in this example, you'll see the entire file content into a string was first read, and then with the help of the replace function, we replace the old text with the new text, and then you can write the modified content back to the file again. Just simply write the text here which you want to change and add the new text here. Moving on to working with large files. So when you are dealing with large text files, it might not be practical to load the entire file into memory. Instead, you can process the file line by line, making changes as you go, and write the updated lines to a file. For this, you will need a simple Python code. In this example, the file is read line by line, and each line is modified and written to a temporary file. Once the processing is complete, the original file is replaced with the temporary file using the OS replace function. This method is efficient for handling large files without consuming excessive memory. And if you need to delete specific lines from a text file, you can do by filtering out the unwanted lines and rewriting the code again. If you need to delete specific lines from a text file, you can do so by filtering out the unwanted lines and rewriting the remaining ones back to the file. This example demonstrates how to remove lines containing a specific keyword. The file is read into a list of lines. A list comprehension is used to filter out the unwanted lines, and then the remaining lines are written back to the file. Just replace this keyword with the word you want to replace. So to wrap up, modifying text files in Python is a powerful way to manage and update data stored in simple formats. Whether you're appending new information, replacing specific text, or removing unwanted lines, Python provides a flexible and efficient approach to file modification. By mastering these techniques, you can automate and streamline your text file management tasks, making your Python programs more dynamic and capable.